jump into this install and little review video of the HSP seats. So as you can tell, I did a completely custom seat. This is what they call carbon fiber type, I guess, vinyl. I did that. It seems pretty easy to clean all the way around. I know white was a big, bold choice. I just wanted to do white, something different. And I did notice them sitting in the sun. This part compared to this part was a lot cooler. So that was kind of nice. But we also did our custom Deranged logo in the headrest, which was really, really cool. But I'm going to show you guys basically how to install these, but also how to make them work with the retractable harnesses. That has been a question on Facebook about the retractable harnesses working with these seats, and they will, but you will have to do some modification to the OEM stuff that you bought from Kawasaki to make them work. So for first thing is right here. It will slide right through here, and it's plenty big enough to get that mechanism through this until you mount it up to the harness bar that Kawasaki provided. So that's the biggest thing. The current location of the mounts on the harness bar do not work. They're too far out from the stock seat, and it causes these to go clear over here. It just won't work. So we're gonna have to cut the brackets off the bar and bring them in on each side. It's looking about an inch or so, but I'll show you guys in the video what we end up actually doing. So they run right along these edges and down just like any other harnesses would. And they actually already go pretty even when this seat is sitting in the KRX. The other thing too, installing these seats, you're gonna have these new brackets and you're gonna get these awesome new sliders. So these have dual sliders. You know, one of the biggest complaints about the seats in the KRX is the sliding mechanism more so than the seat. To be honest with you, I think the stock KRX seats are actually pretty comfortable. I don't really have too many complaints with the seat. The sliders, on the other hand, are kind of a pain in the butt. So this will definitely fix that. Let's jump into getting these brackets on first, because we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to put these two brackets on this seat first before we put it in the KRX, and then we're gonna have to mark our adjustments on where those harnesses are going. But I really feel like each bracket needs to be cut off, brought in about an inch each on each side, and then re-welded on. So if you do not know how to weld, or you're a very minimal welder, I would suggest you get somebody that knows how to weld, because they are welding your seat harnesses, and in case of a wreck or whatever like that, you want to make sure that you don't end up in a situation where they come apart because of your welding skills. So I would really suggest that you basically pay attention to that and get somebody that knows what they're doing. All right, so some simple tools that you're gonna need, not many at all. 13mm wrench, 13mm socket, and with the way that a couple of these bolts mount, they're kind of hard to get to. I found using a needle nose pair of pliers on the washer, you can drop them in a little bit easier. I'll show you how to do that. They do come with instructions. I have those here. So HSP sends the instructions. We got pictures on how to do it. They mention in here how easy it is as long as you follow what they have going on here. Except they have it so you're actually not using a set of mounts that you would use. And then they've attached some parts for that you don't use. And then you basically, it doesn't make sense. So this definitely needs to be updated, HSP. For people that need really good instructions, those aren't them. Anyways, so we'll go ahead and show you guys how to get this on. And once you do the first seat, the second seat is actually really easy and not too bad at all. So if I flip this over, you guys can see these right here. You won't be using those, so we need to cut them off. I don't know why we have those, and I don't know why they're here, but I would suggest if we're not using them, or these eyelets we won't be using as well. That must have been a different way they had to mount their brackets, or maybe for a different machine, I don't know. But if we don't need it, then yeah, let's leave them off. So anyways, I'll cut those off. We'll get this all installed and these brackets on, and we'll go from there. All right, So what we need to do is we need to mount each bracket. What's really cool about their setup is they have them labeled. So this one's the driver's side, outside, front. So that one's definitely going to be going on. Make sure the right part of the seat. So this one here will actually be going on this mount. Why? Because when I pick this seat up, it becomes the driver's outside front seat or seat mounting point. Because these are upside down, so you have to make sure you do opposite when you go to put it back in the KRX. So mount this one first. So this slider is actually going to go on the inside. So these are just going to come right over like that. And this is where it gets a little tricky in order to put this bolt up in here. It's pretty tight and you got to get it up in there, and yeah. So let me show you. So what we want to do is it comes with these extra bolts. You'll use 4 of them, 2 on each side. It's got a little washer you'll leave. I'm going to leave that on. And I'm going to do the bottom one first to hold it. So if you come in here, the holes lined up, that one's pretty simple. Okay. Here's where the needle nose pliers comes to play. And as we get these on, you're just going to only hand tight everything for now. But I can't get my fingers through here. Like if freaking you had like tiny little toothpicks for fingers, maybe you can get it in there. I can't get mine there to hold the washer on. So every time you try to do it, it drops freaking down in this frame and you got to pick up the seat to dump it out the other side to get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come at the top of it and put this on really slowly. So it's just sitting on there, and then use my thumb and bam, it's on. So once that's on, get your socket. That's why I have a longer one. Drop your nut in it. Drop that on and then start turning until you feel it on, and there you go. Otherwise, I promise, as I was doing the other one, dropping them down in here, I had to pick it up and get it out. I cannot get it in with my fingers. This method works extremely well. Right now what we're going to be doing is installing these little metal wires, and these go on the sliders so you can open both sides. This that was sent to me is a little long, so we're going to have to cut them to make them work. Okay, so you're going to want to install this side of the wire on this upper hole and this side of the wire on that hole right here. So when you do this, it opens this one up really easy. So we're going to use the spring still, but we are going to cut this down, and I'll show you how to get it installed, and then we'll be good to go, and then we will show you the harness bars and we'll get the seats installed. Okay, so as you can see, what I did is I cut them, slid the spring over the two, bent it back, cut this one as well, slid the spring over the two, bent it back, and it's good to go. That way, you hold the seat so it doesn't move when you push on these. It opens them both up so your seat can slide forward or back. All right, so here's the good part. So I took the bars in to somebody, like I was saying before, that knows how to weld, and he did an awesome job. His name's Aaron, and he's actually a co-worker with me, and I didn't know he knew how to weld, but dang, he does a great job. So I did all the measurements, I figured it out. So if you want to run your Kawasaki retractable harnesses in HSP seats, and maybe PRP would work as well, you need to move in your brackets 1.5 inch on each side. So let me show you. So this bracket from the inside was sitting out 1.5 inches. This one 1.5 inches. So you need to take the inside of the bracket and move it in 1.5 inches on both sides and then re-weld it. So you got to cut these off, move them in 1.5 inches, weld it back on. As you can tell, I decided to paint my harnesses silver to match our awesome dash plates and also our KRX panel. So that all matches, and I went back and forth on that. Didn't know if I wanted to paint them silver or not, but you know what? Make it a little bit different, not just all black. So anyways, that's the secret to getting these retractable harnesses to work, is you got to move them in 1.5 inches on the inside, each bracket, both sides. So now let's just get them installed and we'll see how they turn out. All right, so pro tip for the day for the KRX. I'm sure you've been removing your center console dash area maybe once, twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. And you guys know those push, pop, rivet, pins, whatever you put, these things, and how they go in here, and then they go in these ones that are even deeper and a real pain in the butt to get into. Here's the secret. Switch them out for these. So yeah, I'm running the Viper machine billet awesome vent panels here, so I took mine off. But you're gonna wanna go ahead and pull out the screw type like this, so not the push pin, and then I would put the push pins up here because you can get access to these really easy. Pop it in there. Screw it down. Switch hands here. Look at that, nice and tight. And when it comes time to remove them, you just unscrew them. You're not stuck freaking digging the crap out of these stupid things and ruining all your plastic. Believe me, I've done it a few times. It sucks. So anyways, pro tip of the day. Okay, so here's another tip when you're installing these seats. Right here, you will have a little tiny clip that goes in here. Well, take it off, because that's a guide for the old seats that helps, and it kind of gets in the way of these brackets. There's one on each side. Take them off, and you'll be able to install these a lot easier. So, anyways, there you go, guys. All lined up, ready to go. First impressions, they're more comfortable. We're gonna get out on a ride a little bit in this video too and see, give you a little bit of a review after a few miles on the KRX with the new seats. Doing a trail ride. This is the first time I've been out to put a few miles on these new HSP seats. As you guys know, as you just saw in this video, the install and what it took to install these seats in the KRX and keep my stock Click 6 type adjustable harnesses in it as well. So far, first impressions was going down the trails. Yes, I have shock therapy on this KRX, which makes a huge difference, and the seats totally add to it. It's like almost you don't hardly feel anything between the seats and the shocks. It is pretty dang crazy. Now that we've also had a good chance to run through the rocks, I have noticed how much better I stay planted in the seat by the way that it's designed. And if you guys look right here on these harnesses, everybody talks about the leg strap. That's kind of uncomfortable. Being that this seat's set up the way it is, where you have the area for your waist here, and then this will actually stay over here on your leg, it actually is a lot more comfortable in these seats. So the big thing too is the adjustability. So the new slides compared to the standard slides are really easy to use, and they go back actually farther, but I try to keep them off my harnesses so they aren't touching. But the slides that come with these seats make a massive difference. Way easier. But first impression in a few miles and rock crawling, the seats are just a huge upgrade. I can't believe how comfortable they are. So big difference. And I definitely recommend so far, and I'll have more seat time as we get close to our overland trailer vid, where we go out and put a lot of miles on towing our overland trailers, hoping that they don't fall apart and break on the way. After like 100-something miles, I will know more how comfortable these seats are. But as far as first impressions, so far they've made a huge difference. So really enjoying them. For the HSP seat install and review vid. It was a great time out at San Hollow today to get a little bit of seat time in them, and I can tell you this much, they definitely support you a lot better and they are a lot more comfortable to sit in. So we feel overall it was a great improvement for the machine, and the rocks, it held you in place a lot better as you went back and forth, and just going down the trail. With the shock therapy, like I said before, on the KRX, it really absorbs the little chatter bumpy stuff, but now you mix that with the seats and you hardly feel any of it at all. So anyways, jump on our website, derangedoffroad.com. You can get your HSP seats yourself and just let us know, and email us even if you'd like, and we can set you up and help you out as far as getting custom colors like this all picked out. You can actually have a logo if you have one put on as well, and a few other choices. So between that and today using the Viper shift gate, I did use it one time and it worked great. When I was getting up, I clicked it right back into reverse real quick and it worked awesome. So between that and the comm systems we've been running and our windshields and everything, overall it's been holding up really well. So alright guys, that's it for this one. Make sure whatever you pack in, you pack out. This is Garrett with Deranged.
Memories filling up my mind and I can't seem to push him back. These times ingrained in my mind and I just can't let it go. How did I lose the way through the things that really matter? These complications spin my mind, but I know I gotta keep pushing through. Yeah, I keep doing my own thing, yeah, never looking back again. I can get it, I can make it, yeah, I know it, and I'm never looking back again. Yeah, never looking back again.